Okay, Craig, so we spoke a bit about soil and you feeding your soil, etc. Can you just talk us through the process of that and maybe show us what good soil looks like?
Okay, great. Soil is something that matures. So it does take time to get. You can go out and buy it, but you really don't know what you're getting. So I prefer to bring in all my own materials and do it slower. What I have is what you could call fungal dominated soil. Because it's very rich in wood. So, and a lot of it was obtained by breaking down wood chips over a long period of time, which takes water, it takes worms, it takes a lot of things. So this is a worm tower, and this is one way to create soil out of kitchen waste. So we take our kitchen waste and we take other things and we put it into this bucket, and it has what's called a red wiggler. And then we'll put in red wigglers later. Okay, and then so the other, and then you end up with a very rich black soil like this. Okay.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's lovely soil.
So I don't know if those shots are good for you. Okay.
Are those good?
Okay, there are more places where we can go. My poor little, I put mealies in just a while ago, so this will be sweet corn.
Oh, shame.
Okay, very good. And then the other parts that the two key concepts I promote greatly on permaculture side is that of water retention, and your soil makeup dictates your water retention. So the more carbon you add into your soil, it starts to become acting like a sponge. So basically my plot, every time it rains, there's absolutely no runoff of water on my plot.
That's awesome.
Every drop that I get, it's saved in the ground, which is amazing. And then the other component of making up excellent soil is plant diversity. Okay, and so we are just now understanding what plants are doing in the soil, but they are the real engineers. They're the real gardeners. They're sending out what's basically called sugar or liquid carbon, and they are feeding the bacteria that they want to promote to go get nutrients for them. So the plants are very clever. And you have to have living plants to create living soil. So, and the more diversity you have, the richer your soil will be, because they'll be feeding more organisms to go off and do all the hard work for you. So it's a very intricate web, but we're engaged in the process, and it's a long-term process.
That is absolutely, absolutely fascinating. Now, I just want to chat a little bit more about the worms and how you actually make a worm tower. And what do the worms do? Like, why do you have worm towers in your garden?
Yeah, okay, so the red wiggler, I've had them about 5 years. They are a secondary consumer, so they generate, their entire body is almost like a probiotic. They're generating good bacteria. They don't smell. They don't stink. So they are generating good bacteria, which then digest the organic matter, and then they eat the bacteria that is digesting the. So they are just fantastic for the soil, and for their body weight, they have the most amount of nitrogen. So they're actually generating nitrogen too. So they're just. Yeah, they do all the hard work. This is a domesticated worm, so it's not the same thing as the normal night crawler in your soil. And you can't domesticate that. So this worm is, it likes to be contained. It will go out into your garden beds. So this tower allows them to go in and out through the bottom, and then you can water it through the top. The nice thing about this design is you can use your house water, your gray water, to water this tower. Okay, so and it will actually, it won't smell or rot or anything. So it's a fantastic device. Again, I have the design of this up on the files tab of the permaculture group, Port Elizabeth Permaculture Group.
That is absolutely amazing. So what you're saying is that people can actually make these from any waste bucket or any bucket that they've got, and then water the soil and the worms with their grey water.
Yes, yes, it's fantastic.
Well, that's amazing because you basically kill two birds with one stone. You've got the water savings and you're fertilizing your garden naturally.
3 birds. Well, 4 birds. You've saved a bucket from going into the landfill. Your kitchen wastes are now going into your soil rather than the landfill. And yeah, then you're irrigating your plants at the same time, which is just fantastic.
That is absolutely amazing because myself, I'm very against your chemical fertilizers that's being used. So this seems like the absolute most amazing system.
Yeah, chemical fertilizers are actually a step backwards. It's amazing they work, to be absolutely honest, because at the same time they're fertilizing the plant with NPK, they are actually killing the bacteria in the soil, the same bacteria that we need to go off and do all the hard work for us of extracting the minerals. So it's a double-edged sword. Monocropping is probably one of the worst practices that we could have come upon. I think the one that tops us is grazing. Grazing would be the worst, and I attribute what they'll call climate change, not to carbon dioxide, but to these 2 practices. Yes. Okay.
That's actually quite fascinating, and I think a whole new topic for another program. We're going to have to come back, folks, because we need to chat to this man some more. But Krag, just on that and the herbal remedies, would you like to just show us a few plants and what they are used for? Krag, what is this pretty plant here next to me?
Okay, I've just learned that this plant actually has a precursor to dopamine, one of the feel-good chemicals in your brain. So this is a broadbean plant. It grows readily in the coastal area for 2 to 3 months a year. It'll produce. And it contains what's called L-dopa, which is a precursor to dopamine. So, and it's a high protein. It's putting nitrogen into my soil at the same time. It's just a great plant.